Hello, hello, my beautiful friends inside the Body, Boundaries, and Business Masterclass. So, I am in an unusual setting today, somewhat. I have had the most amazing adventure over the past like 12 hours. I have traveled to Savannah, Georgia. I'm now here in this gorgeous, beautiful hotel room surrounded by marble walls and totally and absolutely inspired. So, tonight's session is going to be about business. And so, what I want to start with is first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for deciding to spend time with me in this masterclass. Thank you so much for investing your time into this masterclass. And whether you're watching this live or on replay, this is the perfect timing for you, and you are welcome here. So, whenever you're watching this story, this transmission, this connection is going to be very next level. And I don't usually dress like this for my live. I don't usually have completely basically wet hair and wearing a towel. So let me just preface this by saying, this is a little strange, right? This is a little weird. This is a strange setting. So I brought in a ring light too for the lighting, but I just don't feel like doing the lighting. I forgot my suitcase full of clothes, and I just don't want to wear one of the two dresses that I ended up having here. I just don't want to wear clothes right now. I don't want to set up the lighting. I don't want to put on makeup. I do not. I just don't feel like it. This is an important point. So this is gonna make more sense farther ahead in the story. I'm making these statements. I want you to hear me out. I don't feel like putting on makeup. I don't feel like putting on clothes. Because I don't have enough clothes I don't want to wear tomorrow's dress tonight, okay? I don't want to. I just have wet hair because I just showered. I don't want to wait. I don't want to use the fan. I don't want to put on makeup. This is me. So this is a point that I'm making because I have an actual ring light here with me, so I could set it up and have really good lighting. But when I walked in and I sat down and I already had the phone ready to go, and I was like, oh yes, I have the ring light. I was like, this is actually what I want to start with, okay? Because all of the things that you can set up, I can set this, I can move it around, I can move it a little closer. I don't really want to because then it's a weird angle. I'm making a very important point because most of the time when you're running a business, whatever you're doing, whether you're on workcation like I am right now and you're just having a great time but at the same time working, or you're on vacation, or you're really running your business, you're busy. And so what happens is every day is like this. I don't want to wear makeup. I don't want to put on the ring light. I forgot the ring light. Oh my gosh, I forgot that I have wet hair. Oh wow, I don't have the clothes that I want to wear that I feel good about right now. So does that mean that you don't show up? No, it means you still show up. And this is the point that I want to make, because where I'm going with the story tonight is going to take us back through my very first business venture as a young adult, 21 years old. Like it wasn't a long-term project, but it worked. My second run at business, which is the previous version of the company I'm running right now. It's the same LLC, except I changed the name, except it's still the old name in some of my accounts. Anyway, I'm not the most organized person. I will be honest with you. I'm not really, I don't enjoy the masculine organizational skills. So I am moving very rapidly towards hiring all of these roles out because I don't feel like it and I don't want to not have them together as a business owner. So, but that's not where I started. So anyway, I want to make it very clear that we're going to go into the version that didn't work, and then we're going to go to the version that works now. But before any of this happens, this is the point that's going to be very pivotal in all of this story. And the point is, you don't feel like it 99% of the time. Because you have no capacity to do perfection. And it's exhausting and overwhelming because you're also living your life. I'm not a parent. You might be a parent. I don't really have very taxing responsibilities outside of my business. You might have those. You might be a caretaker for some of your family members. You might have whatever going on. You might be also working a full-time job. You might be also homeschooling your children. You might also be taking care of someone. You might also have all these other things going on. And so when it comes to showing up for your business, 99% of the time, you're going to feel like you're not good enough, especially if you're kind of new to this. Like this, live videos, posts, social media, things like that. You're not going to feel like it because you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to have the perfect clothes. You're not going to have the perfect makeup. You're not going to have the perfect hair, the perfect whatever. This robe is literally, or it's not even a robe, it's a towel. It's kind of falling off. It's not going to stop me. This is the point, is that for the longest time, throughout all the phases of my business, even this one, even the current one, I felt like I needed to manufacture an image in order to show up. We then went very deep with the stories about my body and how I've spent most of my life outside of my body in the first part. In this second part, in the previous part, we went into the boundaries, right? So you know my story a little bit, and if you haven't watched those already, they're really good, so make sure to watch them, to catch up. What I'm talking about here is that it created this unreasonable expectation that basically I have to show up perfect. So I have to have the makeup, I have to have the clothes, I have to look good, I have to feel good, I have to be in this specific setting with the ring light, with this, with that. I have to have a tripod, I don't have a tripod. So it's a constant, you never show up. You might show up and do your work, you might show up and, write the whatever email you need to write, you might show up and pay the bills, but when it comes to social media, you just don't feel like you're good enough because you're not in that perfect state that you think you need to be in order to create something like this, like a live video. But the reality is no one cares. Are you sitting here because I'm in my towel? No. Are you listening to me because I have a wet hair or I have a certain setting? No. It really doesn't matter. I'm enjoying the background, but you don't care. You might also like it or you might not, but that's not why you're here. It's not the point. The point is you're like, I am going to get some kind of a value out of it. Maybe you enjoy my energy, maybe you enjoy the way I speak, but all of that is also not important because ultimately you're here because you know you're getting something. You might not even know what it is, but it feels like value. Like it's a valuable investment of your time. Okay, let's imagine, let's do this component a little bit deeper before we go anywhere else. So imagine a gorgeous, beautiful, polished, super duper, just completely rehearsed person. Just being super rehearsed and perfect and polished on TV or some other thing. Are you gonna watch just because they're so polished and perfect? And what are they talking about? You might be like, yeah, maybe if what they're talking about is, yes, of course it might be nicer that there's a nice studio setting, that this, that. But have you ever watched something very polished and very rehearsed and you've been like, this has been a total waste of my time. I came in here expecting not entertainment, but some value. And there was no value. It was very rehearsed, very polished, very edited. But then what did they talk about for the last 45 freaking minutes of my life that I'm never going to get back? What was this about? Have you ever felt like this? Because I have many, many times, like a lot. Now, it's a little different when you watch a show on Netflix, any other streaming service, because you're expecting entertainment. You're like, you don't want to think, you just want to relax. You're not trying to get specific value, you just want to be kind of distracted. And that's totally fine. But when you watch something like this, when you watch someone talking about something, teaching something, do you really care for the setting? It might be nice if it's polished, but if it's something valuable, do you really care? Because the answer is probably no. Like, to an extent, yes. It's not completely pixelated and you can hardly hear what they're saying. That's a problem because you can't get the value easily. You have to struggle to hear or perceive what the hell is going on, right? But when it's clear, it was somewhat clear, right? It doesn't really make a difference as long as it's making sense to you, as long as you're getting value. So how is that not the same for you showing up? Are you an entertainer? If you are, then it's a little bit of a different story. Yes, if you're a singer and you sing, right, and you sing false notes or whatever it is, and it's just like, ow, right? That's a problem. Are you someone who is a comedian? If you're not making jokes and you're saying you're a comedian, or it's not funny, then, But as a teacher, as a business person, as a coach, as someone who is offering value to the world, does it really matter that you're not wearing makeup? Does it really matter that you have wet hair? Does it really matter that there is no ring light, but you're visible, like you're somewhat visible? It doesn't matter. As long as it's visible enough to where you can see what the person's face is doing, right? It's fine, because as long as you can hear what they're saying, right? It's all right that their towel is slipping off, as long as you don't have to see their private parts, right? Because that would be a little weird. So, but does it matter? It doesn't matter. No. Karen says I don't wear makeup. I sometimes enjoy makeup. Sometimes, most of the times, I just don't. I really just don't. I don't enjoy it on my skin. But sometimes I do, and then it's like artistic expression. But it's for me anyway. It's not what I wear, what my makeup is. It's for me. And that's where I'm getting with this. Because the thing is, no one cares. Nobody. No one cares. No one's like looking at her and you and going like, it doesn't look like she's wearing makeup. I can't understand the value that's being conveyed, because I can't get over that she's not wearing makeup. No one cares. Same as if you are. Unless it's some artistic expression makeup that just totally distracts the person, which might be the point, but that's part of you. So what I'm saying is, no matter how you show up, it's really how you feel, okay? Because the way that I felt coming off the balcony where I was just sitting in quiet was, I was wearing this, drying off my hair, and I was like, I'm going to put on a dress, I'm going to install the ring light, I'm going to set all of this up. And then I was like, why would I do this? That's literally the opposite of what I'm going to talk about. I don't need a ring light. I have enough light as is. It's maybe not as pretty as it usually is, but I don't care. I don't want to put on clothes because I ended up having 2 dresses with me because I forgot my suitcase at home. But I happened to bring a second dress, so which is good because I'm going to wear it tomorrow. But I don't want to wear it tonight. Like, it's the only other clothing option I currently have with me. So I don't want to wear it tonight. And, I don't want to use the dryer on my hair because I don't like that. And I don't want to wait until everything's dry and I brush it out. And I'm definitely not putting on makeup. It's almost like midnight for me. So back to the point. The point is, there's always going to be a million things that you can use as a reason why you are not going to show up. But keep in mind, and this is the biggest point that I want to make as we go deeper into this, keep in mind that it's not really about your audience when you are like this. When you use no makeup, no clothes, no this, no that as an excuse, it's not really about your audience. It's about your ego. That's all it is. Why don't you just show up in a way that makes you feel good? Because if I was going from the ego, I would be like, no, I got to put the dress on. I got to put the makeup on. I got to set up the ring light. I got to have everything perfect. Who is that about? Is that about you? No. It's about me and how I feel about the way that I look, which I feel really good now. But if I made it about something else and I had to get through this, all of that, and then only then can I show up, then I'm not really showing up in my power. I'm giving my power away because I'm making these things mean more than my message does. So whenever, and I'm just going to start with this, whenever you are going through a lot of stuff and you're working on your business and in your business and above your business and beneath your business and from all sides, and you're just like, I'm definitely not feeling like dressed up right now. But you have a message, like you had a breakthrough, something happened, you learned something, you had a sale, you had something, you had a record month, or you had a record low month, or you learned some kind of a big thing, and you have it and it's fresh and you're in the energy of it, show up. No one cares about what you look like. You do, which make sure you feel good, but that's all that's required. Feel good doesn't mean look perfect, because look perfect is this way, like, okay, I got enough coverage going, I'm looking as perfect as possible. So, and that's where this is where the story really begins on my end, and this is where my sharing really begins for the night, is that you think I'm speaking because like I'm so smart about this. I did the opposite of what I'm teaching right now. So I was all about this angle, perfection, it was obsession. It was because I wasn't fully in my body, and I was trying to make it do what I want without really looking at it myself. So we talked about this in part 1, by the way, in case you still haven't caught up. And I was running around town trying to please people, trying to channel for people who didn't ask for it, trying to do free work for people. We talked about that yesterday in the boundaries part 2, in case you haven't caught up. So the biggest thing that I was doing as a job that was not paying me anything in my business was people pleasing, trying to be perfect for everyone, trying to be everything for everyone. And that is the biggest mistake you can make in business, because you cannot be everything for everyone. You just can't, because then you are not anyone for anyone, because you're not really yourself. Because when you're trying to be everything for everyone, you're really trying so hard to please people. And hey, I know I made a living out of it, except it wasn't no living. It was zero money all the time. So it's not going to work. And the biggest thing that I remember about that was this constant fear of not being something for someone. That's the biggest thing. The biggest fear that I'm not that for this person. Like, ooh, I can't provide this service for that person. Ooh, I got to come up with it. I got to do all the things. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do everything. But I wasn't really being myself. So let's go back even further. Let's go back to the first business venture that I started, because we're here to talk about business tonight. And I have technically started 3 businesses in my life. Well, the first one doesn't count, and I wouldn't be a 4th. It's just when I was little, I had this business idea. I was like 4 years old. No, probably like 5 or something like this. It was ridiculous. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I want to start a business, because I somewhere heard about this concept of a business. I was like, I want to start a business. And I guess my dad was like a small business entrepreneur, but we didn't really call it that. Anyway, there was this idea of business inside my head, and I was like, Mom, I want to start a business. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, I want to slice bread and sell it. And she's like, what? I'm like, no, I want to buy like whole breads, and then I want to slice them and sell them. And she was like, it's not going to work. And she's like, okay. And I was like so upset. I was like, why do you think it's not going to work? It's going to totally work. She's like, okay, let's assume it's going to work. Let's assume, which it's not, but let's pretend it's going to work. And she said, where are you going to sell the bread? And I said, from our apartment. And she's like, so you want all strange people coming into our apartment buying sliced bread? I was like, yeah. She's like, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And she was like, your idea might work in your mind, but I'm just not going to have people come to our place and buy sliced bread. And mind me, that was happening in Russia, so that's a whole different level. And it's hard to explain. It's just hard to imagine, hard to explain. It's a very, a lot more, how can I put this? A less safe place altogether. So, continuing. that idea does not count. That was a failed venture. It did not launch. There was no launch. It was killed before the launch. The second business idea that I had, and actually did launch it, was I started a Russian or a service for teaching English proficiency exam. So this was not teaching English. It was not teaching English. It was teaching people how to pass the English language proficiency exam, which is called TOEFL. TOEFL. Now, was I qualified to do this? I thought I was, because I had to pass this test myself, because I was, even though I'm an American citizen, when I moved to the United States, I was 15 already, and I didn't speak like any English other than like basically yes or no. I understood a little bit, but I wasn't proficient enough in that first year to like be considered for SATs, which is like a standard American test, and like in the United States. And so they had me take that instead. So for like the first year that I was in the United States, like being in high school. Anyway, long story short, I took it, and I did okay, but I saw that this test there was a system to it. Somehow I saw it, like while taking the test, I was like, aha, that's interesting, how everything had like this rotating system of things. I can't explain it, but I remember catching up to it, and I was like, because this is a test that is accepted in the United States and United Kingdom, and I think maybe some other English speaking countries. And if someone like from Russia wants to go study somewhere or work somewhere, which is really hard to do because it's just hard. But even if you do get a chance, you gotta pass this test for most places. So I was like, why not? And I was already going. I just dropped out of college, by the way, at that time. I two things about me that you need to know about my education. Two things. I'm a graduate from a technical college, which I loved so much. It's a 2-year college. It's like a tech school. In my major was human resource management. So, and I had like aced everything. I was like a scholar. I was like an award winner for academics, basically. And then I dropped out of a 4-year university because it was such crap, and I was so depressed there. And as a customer, not even as a student, but as a customer of that institution, it was horrible service. Like everyone just basically didn't work. Nothing worked, at least for me. And it felt like it was kind of strangely targeted. Anyway, not gonna get into that. But I dropped out of college. It was a difficult decision, but I still think it's my best decision ever in my life so far, to this day. So I dropped out of the 4-year university, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to do some internships, and I'm going to start a business, because all of a sudden the loans I was getting from like the government, and like the few loans that I did receive and a few scholarships, like that, all of that was over. And I was like, okay, so I better start preparing to either start a business or go find a job. And I had an opportunity to do 2 internships in Moscow. So I basically went from the United States back to Russia, spent the entire summer there, had 2 internships, and in addition, I decided to launch the first business. And the business was teaching people how to pass the TOEFL, meaning they already had to be pretty advanced in knowing English, because I'm not teaching them the language, I'm teaching them the test. Because if you've never tried the test, you're going to be like, what? But after doing okay on the test and then really learning English, like American English, in the American kind of system of tests, which is I'm strangely good at systems sometimes. So I saw something there. I saw an opportunity. I was like, okay, this is teachable. I can make people get really well with this. I just knew it. And so I found like 3 students. And the wildest part is that having just dropped out of college, I had something shifted in me. Something was so deeply activated. I was so done, and I so owned that decision, because I really decided, that I had the audacity to charge like $1,000 per this course. Wild. like my best friend in Russia was like, are you crazy? No one's gonna buy. Like, this is insane prices for Russia. I was like, oh, someone will buy. And I don't want 100 students because I can't do that. I can only do like maybe 3 or 4 max in addition to all the internships. She was like, it's not gonna happen. And I was like, well, see. And it happened. I had like 3 students, and I was so confident that I even asked a good friend of mine, who had a pretty well-known like blog, to promote me, and we've been pretty good friends. And she said yes, and she shouted me out, and I was like, what? And so her audience got exposed to it, and I had like maybe 100 people reach out, and out of the 100, or not maybe 100, maybe like, let's say 30. And out of the 30, there was 3 that were like, yes. And then 1, 2, 3, I think there was a 4th. Yeah, no, there was, anyway, there was an extra person that kind of audited it. And they paid me a little bit less than what I charged, but it was like not a full sessions that I provided. So I did like weekly sessions for 6 weeks. And I made like $3,000 and change. And then one of the internships was actually paid. So I interned for Forbes and Pfizer, as in drug company, in Moscow. But they're both American companies, so it was like an interesting dynamic. So it's pretty fascinating. I was wildly successful for some reason. And I just blew all the money. But something that wildly also didn't stick with me was the fact that I had the audacity to charge whatever I wanted, and I got it. Like, it wasn't a no. It worked exactly as I wanted it to. And I had the audacity to do it anyway, even though my best friend in Russia, who's Russian as well, told me it's not gonna work. Like, it's just not. Like, not because she doesn't believe in me, she knows I can do miraculous things, basically, but she was like, it's Russia, it's just not gonna work. And I was like, it will. So as I started my second business, which you guys, as you know from previous parts, was happening after the dark night of the soul ended, and I broke my leg, right? And then I healed, and then I started that second version of my business, which was a failure for 3.5 years straight. And I kept at it, which part of me I'm proud of, and part of me I'm like, what took me so long? Like, I know it's not technically long, but it's a very long time if you're not able to pay your own rent and you're constantly borrowing money. Like, that's a very long time of living like that. So something that was radically different on that second go round was that I didn't charge what I wanted. I didn't even dare say or think of what I actually wanted. And I gave up too easily, and I didn't really show up. I was constantly people pleasing and trying to be everything for everyone. And as a result, I just didn't show up. But it's weird to me how I kind of started on the right track and I totally regressed to the opposite. And then it didn't work, and I kept doing what didn't work for so long. But I think the biggest, and here's where I think this is really going to be valuable to you, my friends, especially those of you who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, is that something happened in between these two things. I learned sales. Because before I did the TOEFL thing, that was so successful because I didn't make $500,000, but I was 21. I just dropped out of college. I made over $3,000, which for Russia was a lot. And I spent the whole summer there. And for there, I was really having really amazing kind of lifestyle for a 21-year-old who just dropped out of college. For the time that I was there, I didn't save anything, but I had so much fun. It was great. So something happened in between. I learned sales, and back then I didn't know sales. I just graduated with a human resources degree, which was basically human resources and psychology and behaviors and, however people act on a job and how to develop them and how to help them acquire new skills and how to motivate them. All these things, yes. Public speaking was part of it a little bit. And I enjoyed all of these things, but they didn't teach me sales. And so between these two experiences, something super weird happened. Is that I was taught how to do sales, and it made me incapable of making a single sale, or just a handful, and they were not enough, not even near enough. Okay, let me just water. Okay, so let me backtrack even some more. So before I went to tech, I was a sales associate at Cachet, which is like a women's clothing company that sold fancy dresses. And I loved it so much. I loved the dresses. I knew the sizes. I wore the dresses myself. I still have some. Not here with me because clearly I didn't bring more than 2 pieces of clothing, but I still have some. Some of these dresses are really amazing. They still look great. Like they haven't got damaged at all with time. And I've been there when I was 19, so that's 9 years. Okay. I love dresses too, Karen. That's my favorite thing. Okay, so I was so obsessed with that sales job. A woman would come into a store and I would know their size. And I think that was part of my psychic abilities, honestly, because once I kind of felt into all the sizes and like amassed them, and I knew that this brand had consistent sizing and everything, which was a great thing as well. I just saw it, like I could just connect to their size without asking. And that was like the best skill ever. Like it wasn't even a skill. Like other girls in the shop were like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know. And sometimes I would bring a size to the woman. She'd be like, that's not my size. And I'd be like, it is. Just try this on. And she would try it on and be like, oh my God, it is my size. Wow, what? Because I knew the clothing so well too. So I was in love with selling these dresses. And I was so in love with selling the dresses that I sold them to myself. I would buy them. I was so in love with a company that when it was almost going bankrupt and then it went down and then it went up, I believed in it so much that I bought stock and I actually doubled my investment. For real. Like the first time I ever invested. Super lucky. But it's not really luck. I felt the brand in my heart. I loved it. Even when I stopped working there, I loved it. But then they went bankrupt. Can't say it sometimes, that word. And I already had some other work, but I went in and helped one of the stores close because I knew their systems pretty well still. And I was like a part-time manager at 19. They only gave me like a 30-cent raise. Can you believe that? I went from a sales associate to a manager and they gave me 30 cents as a raise. It's ridiculous. And I said, oh, wow, that's so much. Thank you. So I went from like $9.50 to $80 an hour, $9.80 an hour. Wild. And then I asked them part-time managers, like what they were getting paid. They're like at least $11. I was like, what? They're like, well, what did they give you? And I was like, a 30-cent raise. They're like, why didn't you ask for more? I was like, I don't know. I just said thank you. It's so ridiculous, but that's not the point. I loved it still. I didn't care. I really did not. I could have probably worked there for free, but no, I loved getting paid because I loved also buying the dresses. And my parents really didn't make me help with the bills. And I was like 19 living with my parents before tech. And while I also went to tech, I worked there. So great experience. Another successful sales experience. So selling from passion, I freaking love these dresses. Selling from, I wear these dresses myself. I know the sizing so well. I can give you the dress that's going to look on you like amazing. Because I believe in the brand. I know the brand, right? So this is really great example of sale. Then another one was this TOEFL, because I so saw the opportunity. I was like, oh my God, no one's doing this. Or someone is, but I got the connections I can maybe use, and I got the idea, and I'll bring the books, and I'll bring this, and I'll bring that, and I did bring all of this, and it all became useful, and I made the money that I was hoping to make, and it was perfect. So 2 really great examples. Now the bad example. Let's go into the bad examples, because that's what freaking ruined it for me. Okay, so for a while, not permanently, but for a too long of a time. So number 1 was selling death. the most horrible job I've ever had. Ever. Selling life insurance. And I understand that, maybe life insurance is important. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe you can, instead of buying life insurance, maybe you can invest into some specific kinds of trusts and stocks and things that will also have the same effect. It doesn't have to be life insurance per se, but I was selling the life insurance. And what is implied in the life insurance is that your life is somehow under threat right now. Now, as a psychic, I can tell you that there's life after death, for sure. Okay, because I'm exposed to it all the time. I can also tell you that this is just beyond being a psychic. This is just the truth of life. The moment you're born, there is a guarantee that you're gonna die one day, someday. So who knows when? Maybe when you're old, maybe when you're young, maybe when tomorrow, who knows? There is never a guarantee. Like at some point you're gonna die, for sure. I get it, I know it, I understand it. As a child, I've not really ever been afraid of death, strangely enough, because I could kind of remember past expressions of myself, and I was like, this must not be the first go around. So that means there's something beyond. On some subconscious level, I always knew that. So, but selling life insurance is where it went so wrong for me. Because all of a sudden, from the experience of selling dresses and launching a thing in Moscow where it was just sold out, basically, I went to showing up at people's doors, calling them, making some appointment, and basically lying your way through why you're going there, and you're getting them some free something, and it's just like, it's horrible. I was doing this going like, I would hate if someone did this to me. This is so awful. So I would go to someone's house after this whatever appointment, and I would be like, hey, your free gift or whatever is in my bag. But in order to get it, you have to watch this video. And the video was about death. Conveniently enough, it was talking about how you're gonna die, by the way. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about dying lately? Well, you are. It's just, I can't not laugh now. But it was so, like, heartbreaking at the time. It's just, like, so cringe. It was like, oh my God, I hate this so much. I was like, you're gonna die. The video is, like, playing sad music. There are tombstones. If they added some ghosts, it would be comical. But there's some tombstones and it's sad music. And they're like, have you thought about your loved ones? Have you thought about dying? Have you thought about final arrangements? Have you went shopping for a casket, basically? Ever, by the way. Here are some options. Prepare. Might as well. Hey, you would want to have the best funeral. It's not for you. It's for your loved ones. Remember that. And people are sitting watching like, oh shit. That's what I signed up for. And I'm sitting there like, I'm sorry. So bad. So bad. Oh my God. So I was like selling. And then some of those unfortunate, emotional, and vulnerable, sometimes mentally vulnerable, not like mentally vulnerable, like they're not aware of what's going on, but like easily gullible and a little bit bored people, like the ones that are kind of happy that someone came to their house, like they're bored, and so this is kind of entertaining for them. And also watching me suffer through this was probably hilarious. But, I was doing my best. But it was just like, you could probably feel that I was like, what the hell am I doing here? And so those who were kind of bored, they're like, yeah, why not? We haven't thought about death, so why not think about it, right? Let's sign up. Let's see what happens. And so I would do that. Like I would, you know, run them the application and there, whatever, and there's the whole process. And then at that point, they kind of sold themselves. And I was like, ugh. And so there was this promise of a commission, but if this thing didn't go through, then you don't get the commission. There is no base pay whatsoever. So it's like a pyramid scheme, basically. And they're constantly hiring people, and people leave, and they promote other people who are not ready. People that have been there 3 days become managers. It's just like a mess, a huge, ginormous mess. And so I lasted a whole lot of 3 months. But these 3 months did me in, like, psychologically about sales. I was like, I don't want to do sales. I do not. Whatever that is, no. No, thank you. I don't want to ever do this again. I'm going to take a little breather, drink some water, and read your comments, you guys. Oh my God, Kayla had to sit through one of those. Oh my God. Oh my God, that just made my heart break a little bit. Oh my God. I would not tolerate this, by the way. If someone showed up at my house and did this to me, I would be like, out. I don't want any free things. I don't want anything. Goodbye. Like, bye. With all due respect to the profession that I once held, I would be like, no. Out. Goodbye. And you know what? When someone didn't show up, or they didn't answer the phone, or they didn't answer the door, or they were like, no, I was like relieved. I was like, oh, thank Jesus. This is great. Thank you for not letting me do this to you. And so after this experience, I was like totally burnt out, like for any kind of sales, basically, because I was like, ooh, that was horrible. And then I had a job of what seemed to be like the job of my dreams. So as you can see, I went the corporate route. I went the company route. Like I've shifted from trying to be an entrepreneur to basically picking up jobs, right? So because I felt like I wasn't ready to really fully be committed as an entrepreneur. So I worked for a newspaper. Some of you who know me long will know what it is. I don't ever want to mention the name. I don't want to mention the corporation. It's a newspaper in South Carolina, basically, and they call themselves a media company. It's a newspaper that's existed for like hundreds or 150 years or so. It's crazy. But then it went with this whole, it was sold to this corporation, and then the newspapers are dying, obviously. So the corporation started pushing some kind of marketing, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like they're selling ads that reach 15 people on Facebook for like $350. It's ridiculous. Like there is no logic, no sense to it. And I would sell ads in publications that would never be published. Like they were technically printed, yeah. And they would be sent to some subscribers that were not paid subscribers. It was just bullshit, basically. But the ads would cost $1,500 per half a page, or $2,000 for a whole page, or $2,500. Ridiculous. I mean, as a small business, you invest into something like this, especially if you're older generation, like you're a business owner, and you're in that generation that still somehow believes in newspapers. Or newspaper advertising, or you think it has any still reach, and you buy, and you're a small little business and you buy a $1,500 ad, and you just made $500 for that whole week in your business as is, and you just basically blew a lot of money on it, you don't get any results, because there are no results, because it goes to some subscribers that throw away these papers. They're like, stop sending them to me. So no one reads that. So, and I was like, and the ads, and I was like, I was like, that's so weird that, our customers, because I didn't really know how to run ads. I've never tried it. But I was like, it's so weird that someone who's paying like $300, $400, $500 is getting like 10 likes. I mean, I'm not even talking sales, but like 10 likes on Facebook. Like, how are they running those ads? Like, they can't be. Like, you can't pay $400 for 10 likes. Like, what's wrong? And it is wrong. And I tried running an ad just one time, just out of curiosity. And I was able to get like 200 likes for like $50 or whatever. And the ads were cheaper at the time. But anyway, I was like, what's going on here? And so I started realizing, oh my God, this corporation has so many people hired all over the country, California, Los Angeles, and New York, and this, and Chicago, and all over. And they have all these strategic partners that run the ads, that do the fulfillment. And then these partners basically just take the money, and the actual ad budget ends up being like $10 out of the 400. And they know they're counting on the small businesses that don't know any better. That you tell them, oh, we're running your ads online. And they're like, oh, wow, internet. But that's such a shady, awful way to treat small business. And I loved small businesses because my dad's a small business owner, always has been. And my mom has become one in the United States. She started selling her art and she's become a successful business owner. And so I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I was getting a salary at this point. I was getting $35,000 a year plus commission on the shit I would sell. And there's no other word for it because it was total crap. So I would get commission. So they were paying me to sell it too. So they pay me, they pay the copywriters or assistants, they pay people in California and Chicago and New York. And then there's $10 left of the 400 for the actual ad. So it gets 10 likes. And no one really even cares how it runs. They just put whatever in and run it. Never look at it again. So that was devastating to find out. I was like, oh my God, I'm selling things that are guaranteed not to work. When I found out that the print publication I was given, it was called, okay, you guys, this is a closed group. I don't feel particularly bad saying this because I technically signed papers not to drag them, but this publication doesn't even exist at this point. Like, Carolina Bride, like a wedding publication. I was like, ooh, wow, glamorous. And then I asked my boss, like, where can we be purchased? Someone asked me, I was selling the ad. They're like, oh, I'd love to buy the ad. Where can it be purchased? And my boss was like, it's not for sale. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not for sale? He's like, it just gets sent to our subscribers. And I was like, what subscribers? He's like, the people that subscribe to the paper. I'm like, so people who are 60, 70, 80 years old, you're sending them Carolina Bride? Like, what's the point? They're probably not getting married. He's like, yeah, whatever, but there are subscribers. And I'm like, what? That's not even the target audience. And I was like, no, don't worry about it. There's also online component. And I'm like, yeah, I know how that works at this point. Like, wow, this is wild, ridiculous. So I went on for a while, and then I was causing trouble. Things were failing. Company was failing. Corporation was failing. Things were just awful. Everyone was getting cut. And I got cut. And I got cut as one of the first few because I was stirring the pot. I was bringing to attention what was going on. And so, again, I felt so sorry and ashamed of what I sold and how I sold it. And the thing is, when you don't believe in what you sell, something in you dies a little bit. If you don't believe in what you sell, but you have to sell it and you sell it for too long, you stay for too long, it kind of, especially if you're intuitive, empathic, psychic, most of you guys are. Most of you in my world, even if you don't like to call it that or admit that to yourself, you're psychic, you're intuitive. So if you're intuitive and psychic and empath, and you sell what you don't believe in, and you're like, I hate this so much, then it kills a little part of you that you then need to rebirth somehow. You have to reanimate it in a way later on because it literally dies. So some part of me died. I was like so ashamed of what I sold, how I sold it, how I was taught to sell, what I was taught sales was. I didn't even remember that what sales used to be to me was not a thing called sales. It was just communicating to women the dresses that I loved so much. Because when I went into that boutique to sell dresses, I wanted to have that job there. I was obsessed with that store. And it was not for young girls. I was like 19. It was not really for 19-year-olds. They had some prom collections, but it was for adult businesswomen. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be one. I was obsessed with that style. Chic, a little sexy, but then kind of always business oriented, like pencil skirts, dresses that go like to your kind of knee, but sexy and colorful, but also kind of professional, semi-professional. Business casual, kind of like, I'm obsessed with it, totally obsessed with it. And so I didn't go to that boutique to become a salesperson. That wasn't the thought. That was, I want to be around those dresses. I want to sell them. I want to sell the dresses. I don't want to be a salesperson. I want to be selling these dresses and wearing them while doing it because I love them so much. I want to be in the world of these dresses. I love it. Oh yeah, child safety kit, Kaylee. That's exactly what I was bringing. Child safety kit, right? Child safety kit or some other kind of thing, that some piece of paper. Oh, free life insurance, $1,000 in free life insurance. Except, no matter what happens, basically it never works unless it's some very specific circumstance. It's crazy, you know. Child safety kit, by the way, is like literally just a teeny tiny piece of paper that has the name, the face, the fingerprint. I mean, you can just draw one on a piece of paper and that's your child safety kit. I mean, like, it's a no thing, right? So I wasn't trying to be a salesperson when I went to sell dresses. I wasn't trying to be a salesperson when I went and sold my TOEFL course. I saw a business opportunity. I was like, wow, this is going to work. Like, I see how I can teach the system. It's not, people already know the language, but they're going to fail the test because I did mediocre on it. And I was like, I know how it works now. I can get them to ace it. It wasn't me trying to be a salesperson. It was me being like, ooh, there is a business opportunity. I can have a really good summer, a really cool summer, having a lot of fun, making good money, teaching something that people can literally use. And they did. They did pretty well. Then they did it again. They did really well. So the results were there. So again, I wasn't trying to be a salesperson. I just saw means to an end in terms of like, how can I get people to find out about this thing that I'm going to do? So it wasn't even marketing or sales. It was just like an idea, pure entrepreneurship. Pure sales was the dresses. Life insurance was basically intruding on people. So no boundaries to a crazy extent. Breaking other people's boundaries. This selling the newspaper was a lie. And I knew it and everyone knew it. And it killed me. I was like, I cannot believe. The things I care about the most, the small businesses, what I care about the most, I get to rob them. Wow, that's a whole next level. So, and then every case, I was very specifically a salesperson. I had that title. I was an insurance agent, sales agent. And then I was the sales rep for the paper. So both of these gave me a bad taste with sales. So when I started my own company and I wanted to do marketing, I had this ruined perception of what I was there to do. So I had this idea that in order to do marketing, I need to be a salesperson selling marketing. And I didn't know what that would even look like. And I felt so ashamed for selling things that were clearly a scam that I felt like I was a scam. And that's something that took me a while to heal. I felt like I was a scam. And so I felt like I had to come up with this kind of persona, this perfection, this show up as perfect as possible and pretend and just be as normal as possible, because I was trying to conceal the fact that I felt like a scam. And no matter what I would do, even though it wasn't a scam, I felt like I was a scam. So that was a difficult thing, because it's like once it's in your mind, it's something you can't. Right now I'm speaking about it like I totally understand what it was. At the time I didn't understand what it was. I couldn't see it. I knew I had a tremendous shame and guilt for the things I sold before and how I sold them, but it didn't cross my mind that I was feeling like I was a scam until like later. So the what I was focused on 100% was trying to sell, to the point where I was selling free work. I was working for free, selling free work. It was awful. And I still felt like a scam. So even when I was selling my own free work, I felt like I was scamming people somehow. It was awful. So, but in the meanwhile, and this is where this gets interesting, and so we're getting close to a form of conclusion, you guys. Some lives are more organized. Some lives require this kind of all over storytelling so that you can kind of see the difference between the different parts of the story that I'm sharing. So we're getting to a point where we're going to swim out of this lake of swirling stories and to a pretty important piece of this entire masterclass. So while I was selling for my failing third round of business, or rather second, the one that failed, I was ruined in this sales perspective, and I was trying to do sales, and I felt like a scam, and it was awful. But in the meanwhile, something I didn't identify as part of my business, something I didn't even know what it was about. I didn't know what it was, for how, why. I just knew I had to. And it's something that I could not explain. Two things. Number one is tarot. And I talked about tarot in every single part of this masterclass. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it again at the very, very end. But you kind of already know. So I was practicing tarot. I was doing readings for myself every single day. And I couldn't explain it, couldn't understand why. And I just knew I had to learn it. And it was helping with my spiritual realization. It helped me out of the dark night of the soul. So I was like, I have to. That's part of who I am now. That's just what I do. So that's one. The second, though, and this is the important part, is I was going live. I started going live on my Facebook page. And I had no idea I would come up with an idea sometimes and share it. And it was weird things, like different weird things. Sometimes I talk about something spiritual. Sometimes I talk about some patterns, some realization. Sometimes I talk about a random thought that I had on my walk. Sometimes I just saw a memory today from 3 years ago come up on Facebook. So I tried those like vlog formats. So I like filmed me in spending a day in Charleston and working for my mom and walking around and doing those things. But I just like edited the video. What was the point? There was no point. I just knew I had to start practicing going live. I knew I had to be good at it. I don't know why. I didn't have the role models that were good at going live. That wasn't really even such a trend yet. It was kind of starting, but I didn't follow anyone that I was like, ooh, I want to be like that person. So I started going live and I just did it. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was weird. It was heartbreaking sometimes. It was like, because I would do something so cringe, or I would go live and I was drunk and I didn't really appear like I'm slurry or crazy, but I knew I was drunk. And so I was just like, why did I do this? And I was like, I just did things, I would go live and I would go lose the track of my story and get so far, and then I would forget what I was even talking, and I was just like, oh my God. And I think some people watched it kind of like a train wreck, and that's all right, because hey, guess what? This and tarot is what is the foundation of my business right now, which is successful. But I just kind of knew that I had to do it. I didn't know why. Now, there was an intermediary thinking process, because between the failed business and this business, there was a thought like, maybe I can take my business online somehow. Maybe I can be some kind of a teacher, coach, Maybe I can even share some kind of a tarot course one day or something like that. And so I started doing investigating, and the little money that I did make, which I didn't even have enough to pay my own rent, the little money that I did make, I took as much of it as I could and I invested into education. And what education I ran into was this online sales paradigm that was masculine paradigm. So, for example, like ClickFunnels teachings. And they taught me a lot of good things too, by the way. But the way that they taught sales, again, was so masculine. So I have these two books. One of them is called .com Secrets, and one of them is called something else. There's a copywriting secrets one, which was actually pretty good. I mean, they have great information, and there's some, expert secrets, that's it. So this is by Russell Brunson, who runs the ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is a sales platform. Someone like Melanie Anlayer, whom I've referred to a few times, uses it, but she doesn't use their principles necessarily. She just runs her sales pages on it. She runs her sales processing on that. And it's a really good system. It's especially if you have a large volume of sales, it's very easy to create a sales page. And yet I heard Melanie say that her fiance does this. So he like enjoys building those. And so I can see that because it's definitely a masculine type system where you gotta plug things in, and it's easy kind of, but there is a system to it that's like kind of masculine, linear thinking a little bit. It's easy to use though. I've worked with it before a little bit, but it just never sticks. So I'll start it and then I'll be like, I don't feel like it. So I invested into these systems kind of courses. So there was a course for $100. There was another course that was like a membership that was $100 per month, and you get access to the whole library. So I basically just watched the whole library in 1 month and then stopped paying. So I did what I could. And I learned a lot. But again, this masculine way of sales was reaffirmed. And the masculine way of sales was you got to invent the problem to solve. Like death. You come up to someone, you give them some elusive gift that means nothing, and then they got to watch something for that gift that has zero value, and then you create a problem. You tell them, hey, you're gonna die. Like, they don't know that, but you make them think about it, so you create a problem. So it wasn't that drastic, but it was definitely kind of like that. Creating a problem, providing a solution, boom, charge them. Give something to them, take it away, make them go like, oh my God, don't take it away. This promise of everything is going to be all right. And then sell them something that's going to make them feel safe again. That's terrible. That's like, I think if you're a very sensitive person and you get kind of trapped in that, you can have PTSD being sold like this. And it's awful. I mean, it's awful. So, and I guess some people resonate with that, but I'm not one of those. So I was trying to learn online sales, and I was like, you know what? I just don't like sales. Sales suck because I hate this. I hate this. I hate going door to door. I hate cheating people out of their money and selling them bullshit. And I hate the possibility of doing that online now. What's the difference? So it's kind of, I mean, I learned there were, in addition to that sales paradigm, there were some interesting things that I learned from reading these books and taking those courses. There were some good things. Like, there were some things that were as part of it also presented, like social media and, having building the confidence to see yourself as an expert, even if you're not perfect at something. So all of that is perfectly in resonance, but the sales component was awful, just gross, just disgusting. So here's what really changed. Here's what changed in my business is I started learning, why is my business successful now? First of all, two things. One, I started with that thing already in the beginning of the video. Is one, I stopped trying to be everything for everyone because I healed the shame of selling what I didn't believe in for too long. Even though it technically was not long, it was too long for me. I healed the shame. I healed the feeling like I'm a scam. And the way to do this was to become radically just myself. So there is no way I can be a scam. How can I be a scam if I admit that I'm totally psychic and that I do readings for myself every day, and now I want to share them with other people. I can't be a scam because that's totally raw. And if someone doesn't like me, then they're definitely not going to like me, like, because I'm not trying to be liked. I'm just being myself. So boundaries, body, that was huge. So I healed the feeling like a scam, feeling worthless. We talked about that yesterday quite a bit in the boundaries part. But I also got over having to be everything for everyone, having to look perfect, having to show up with makeup, with ring light, with this, with that, with whatever, and just doing everything and being everything for everyone. Through doing live videos, when I did them with no purpose or reason, where I was just practicing. I didn't know why. I knew I had to practice it. I didn't know why. I even remember saying this on the live a few times. Like, someone would show up and be like, hey, you do this live again. What is this about? And I would be like, you know what? I don't know what this is about. I just feel like I need to keep doing these. And it wasn't 365 challenge. It wasn't every day. It was just whenever. But it was like me. And the more I did it, the less I had to be perfect. And it didn't start like this. So the more I did the lives, the less I cared about, like, me, how I look like, what I sound like, who's gonna think what. I kind of just started showing up. It wasn't immediate. It took me a while. But that was part of it. The second, of course, becoming myself. Third was learning how to sell from feminine energy. And I will attribute this to my mentors, and I'm still learning right now. I'm actually in a few high-end intensive programs with mentors Melanie Ann Layer, Cassie Howard, Mindy Sarton, and I have also entered a course with my friend. Her name is Renata, and she's teaching investments. Okay, so I know investments doesn't sound like a sales course, but it is, because investing from a place of abundance, investing in something, is what actually happens when someone purchases something. So, like, I was invested in that dress company. Look, I bought their dresses. I spent basically all the money coming in the same store. I wore the dresses to work. I loved it. I invested in their stock because I loved the company. It wasn't about sales for me. It was about the whole thing. I loved it. So investments is actually how sales work when they're not weird and cringy and pushy and gross. You don't need to scare a person half to death and make them think that there's a problem so that you can solve it and sneakily sell them something. That's not the point. They get to invest. They go like, oh my God, I love this. But you got to believe in yourself enough to hold space for something that others will love. Because you got to realize it's not about you. It's not. It's not. The next level of that is, it's so not about me that I can show up however, bare minimum of whatever, and still convey how much I care about this and how much value am I offering here. What am I actually doing? Why do I believe this? Why am I the best I can be at this thing? Not better than others. No. That's not the point. Why am I the best I can be at this thing? And why do I want to teach it? Why do I want to offer it? It's not about you. It's about the person hearing this and going like, I want this thing already. I want to buy it. I already want to buy it. She believes it. She says it. It's not about her. Oh my God, she's not even wearing makeup. I love it. She's human. I don't care about her makeup. I care about the thing she's talking about. It's my money. It's my investment. I want to know if this is a good investment, not what she looks like. And again, when you're turned on, when you're like feeling great, gorgeous, when you did makeup for yourself and you're feeling amazing, that's part of it. Because you're in a good energy. If you're sitting in a towel and you're not wearing makeup and it's nighttime and you didn't put a ring light on because you didn't feel like it, and it's liberating, that's part of it. But it's not about you. It's about how you feel, yes. But it's not about how you look. It's not about being perfect. That's not what people buy. They buy what you are selling. And they buy it for themselves, not for you. They buy it for them. Trust. If you've ever bought a reading from me or anything else, did you buy it for me? Did you buy a reading so I would do a reading for myself? No. Why would you do that? That makes zero sense. You bought a reading for yourself. Did you need me to be totally gorgeous and like wearing super expensive luxury brands and having super polished? No. Why? Why would you need that? It's a reading for you. It's not going to be my face. It's going to be the cards that you receive and the messages that you hear. So what does it matter what I look like? It doesn't. Now, if I'm inspired and I'm sharing something and I'm having a great experience and I'm enjoying myself and I'm feeling myself and then I get to share a message while feeling myself, then yes, it is about it. Because I feel good. You feel good. Reading this, you're like, yes, I feel this. I do this sometimes. I feel really good. I take a selfie when I feel good. I feel amazing. This is great. Wow. I like this. She knows what this is. So the greatest shift in sales was learning how to sell from a feminine paradigm. Learning how to sell to women, because that's who I work with. And masculine sales, unfortunately, they kind of still work like what we were talking about, creating a problem and fixing it. Don't you see that that's masculine energy? That's masculine men are usually fixers. My husband is a fixer. He's very masculine. I really enjoy that. He does have a sensitive, like aware side, like sophisticated side, like the deeper side, right? That doesn't always come out, but I know it. So that's a little, I have some masculine energy too. Hey, I can be pretty confrontational, and I kind of like that about myself, because I feel like most people won't be, and most issues remain untouched. But I'm a type 8 Enneagram, which type 8s tend to be confrontational. If you know Enneagram. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's just something I inserted. But don't you notice how masculine men, oh, Kayla, you bring up a really, really good point. I'm going to go there in a second. Hold on. You may bring up I'm so glad you left that comment. Yes. So masculine men fix problems. That's why a woman is having emotion, and that's not everyone. There are sometimes very feminine energy men and very masculine energy women. I'm not making assumptions, but I'm just saying, for me, the only way to really sell and enjoy it and have success is to sell from the feminine. And when I was selling the dresses and I was totally invested in everything about it, that was the feminine sales. And when I was selling the course that I came up with the idea and I didn't even care how it was going to be sold, I just believed it so much, I was invested no matter what. I didn't even care how the marketing was going to work. I didn't go to be a salesperson for my course. I was like, I'm going to do it. And whoever needs to be in it will be in it. That's feminine. Okay, now the masculine. A masculine man. A woman is telling him the emotions. Like, hey, I feel this, I feel that, And he's like, how can I fix it for you? That's a common story. How can I fix it? And the woman's like, I don't need you to fix it. I'm just feeling this. I just want you to sit and listen and hold space. And the man goes, I don't want to hold space. I want to fix it. I want to help you somehow. I want to fix it for you. That's just the energy. That's masculine energy and feminine energy. Feminine energy holds space and feels and invests fully with everything. The masculine is fix it. Isolate the problem, highlight the problem, fix it. Linear. So Kayla brought up something. Yeah, and Casey is now saying the same thing. Okay, great. Ladies, you bring up a very good point. That's the part of the feminine energy. That's the biggest part. Because you're fully invested. You didn't just buy what I sold because it solved the specific problem. No. You don't really have a problem. You just bought because you desire it. Right? So you desire it. And you invest in it. Fully. Everything. No matter what. This is it. I want it. I desire it. I want it. That's it. That's mine. That's it. It's happening. Okay. All of it. Not just the problem and the fixation of it or fixing of it, but the whole experience from a place of desire, not a place of lack, not a place of problem. Oh, it feels awful. Don't you hate when you actually do have a problem and you have to find a solution and buy it? It feels awful because you're like, ugh, there's a problem and I have to spend money on fixing something. It sucks. I want to do fun things. I want to do nice things. I want to enjoy my experiences. And I'm fixing a faucet. Sucks. We don't like that. No one likes that. Dudes, very masculine energy men, they love it. That's why they buy tools. They buy whole sets of tools to use for fixing things. That's why and it's again very stereotypical, but that's kind of the energy. They like tweaking, whatever, tinkering cars. And again, that can be part of your expression. That can be part of your masculine energy. But that's a masculine energy nonetheless. Fixing things, tinkering, switching out the one part for the other part. Masculine energy. They enjoy it. They like fixing problems. They really do. We do not. We like to buy from a place of desire. We like to buy the vacation, buy the bag, buy the dress, buy the crystal, buy the reading, buy the program with this amazing coach. Wow, she activates me so much. This is amazing. Yes, yes, I want this. I want this retreat. I want this experience. I want this reading. I want this luxury experience. Okay, so the feminine is buying the whole thing, the entire thing, and everything that comes with the thing, and the person who is selling it, and their energy and everything. Just like me working in that store. Because I bought the dresses, I wore the dresses, I sold the dresses, I bought stocks. I took a 30-cent promotion. And I was so happy about it. And when someone told me, why did you take that offer? We were getting paid $11, you were getting paid $9.80. Why? And I was like, oh well, it is what it is. I love working here. I don't care. I love being a manager. I love working here. I love it. They're like, okay, something's wrong with you. But I wasn't there for the money. Do you think I was there for $9.50 an hour and then $9.80 an hour? No. I spent it all on the clothes anyway. I wasn't there for that. I was there because I loved the whole thing, everything about it. It was like my dream come true. Working in this boutique, wearing the dresses, selling the dresses, being around these dresses, I was like obsessed with it. It was like my getaway because I was studying really hard at the same time. And when I would go to the store, I would just like be like, ah. And it was a job. It was work. Pretty hard work, actually. But it was so much fun because I loved it. I loved it. And there were definitely women there that were just there to have some kind of a job. But I was not one of them. I was there because I was fully invested and I loved it. And that's why I was so good at sales. I was fully invested with the first course that I launched. When I started learning sales from the place of find a problem, fix a problem. Doesn't matter the delivery, doesn't matter the results. Just scare them half to death and fix their problem and take their money and run. I started hating it because that sucked. It hurt my soul. And then it hurt my soul so much that I felt like I was the scam. I was the scam because I did it for too long. And I didn't quit. And I always kind of let it completely come to ruin before I would ride it out too long, basically. So in healing all of this and healing my body, this is the feminine energy because you got to heal everything. You got to work on healing everything to heal a specific thing. So in healing my body, in healing my boundaries, I finally got to heal my business. And the month of May was a $14,000 month for me. $14,000. The old version of my business that sucked, that I was feeling like a scam, having no boundaries, working for free, making people give me free things to do, hating myself, feeling totally worthless. I made $7,000 for the whole year. Hardly. For an entire year. $7,000 for the whole year, $7,000 for the whole year. That was not enough for anything, basically. But then I get to make $14,000 in 1 month. What? Some of it is sales, some of it is cash, some of these are payment plans, which I love, because I love payment plans myself. I love it. And hey, I do the program, I forget about the payment, and then the payment shows up. I'm like, oh my God, more money came in. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. I don't need to have it all right now. That's also the masculine. I have it. What, have they paid yet? Have they clicked the link? Have they considered yet? Oh my God. Why the payment plan, I only get this much now. What about the whole thing? I need the whole thing right now. Why? It's the masculine energy. Or I don't trust it. It's either this or I don't trust it. Trust it. Trust yourself. So my friends, and this is something that I'm only announcing in this group, something that I'm going to do in July, and this is just something to keep in mind. Something that I'm going to do in July is going to be 2 programs. One will begin on July 7th, and the one will begin at the end of July. Specific date to be determined. They're going to be both 2 weeks long. 14 days. Okay? 14 days. At full price, they're going to be $1,400 each. 14 modules, 14 days each, $1,400 each. In this specific container, you can get them both for $888, which is basically close to half of the price of one. So it's like a fourth of what it's going to be of them together. I want to tell you what they're going to be about. It's not even about the sale or the pre-sale or anything. I just want to share what they're going to be about because this is the first time I'm doing this. So I'm going to teach 2 programs. One is going to be on sales, and I'm going to reveal the name of it here. There might be an extension to the name to kind of explain it a little bit with maybe a phrase, a sentence, a key phrase, channeled, obviously. But I channeled the name already. I've been gearing up to introduce this since last month because I had the vision and I was like, wow. So one of them is going to be called Yourself with 2 L's. So it's going to be about sales. It's going to be psychic sales program. I like that word because it's triggering / activating to a lot of people. Psychic. Because all the people, everyone is psychic to an extent. Most people just have it so shut down that every time they see the word, they go like, what? And something, sale, what? How, what? Poof, something explodes. And then they're like, what is she talking about? That makes no sense. But then something gets activated because they're like, so psychic everything? So everything in life can be psychic? Yeah, because we're all psychic. But there are those of us who are specifically developed, and I'm one of them. And I work with women who are too, happen to be as well. That's what attracts them to me. So Yourself is going to be a psychic sales program. And a divine feminine energy at that. Like very feminine energy sales. Because psychic is feminine energy. That's why most people, we've been in the masculine paradigm for so long. That's why most people have it so shut down. Because the masculine paradigm did not tolerate this. It's logic, it's linear, it's create a problem and fix it. It's never psychic. You just, how do you know? I know the answer already. How do you know? I just know. I just invested $1,000 into, so how did you invest? What are you bought? What did you buy? I don't know what I bought. I just know that this is a coach that I follow and I just love her programs. What? You did what? You spent how much? What did you buy? What are you getting? I don't know. I just trust it. You trust? How can you trust it? You don't even know what you bought. You're crazy. Oh, I just made $50,000 from taking this course. What? You did what? How did you do that? I took this course and it activated me and I knew it was going to be activating, so I invested in it and now I did it. How did you do it? What did you sell? It doesn't matter. I became an aligned match to $50,000. What? How? How does it work? What did they buy? What did you sell? You're not going to understand. Conversation with a masculine energy person. Man, more common, but a lot of women still think like that, even though that's not feminine energy. And they want to be feminine, but they can't get over that because it's so deeply ingrained at this point. So Yourself, how did it come to me? I channeled it. And the channeling was, I had an ayahuasca ceremony last month in a very close circle. It's a gray area. It's technically a an allowed religious sacrament. So it's a substance derived, it's not derived, but made entirely from two plants, okay? So a lot of plants are illegal, unfortunately, and however, it is somewhat legal within a religious setting, and that group is registered as a religion technically, but again, that's just such a private little circle, so they don't like to be known or mentioned or provided information about. But I had, and this was like my 10th in my life. I started experimenting / kind of learning with ayahuasca from the age of 25. So over the past 3 years, I've had 10 ceremonies. So it was another one for me. So it wasn't a new experience. But it's every time it's different. But I asked the spirit of the plant to show me, like, what else can I offer? What else can I teach? What else can I dig deeper into? And this name came to me. And it didn't come to me immediately because I had a pretty deep ceremony and I had to do a lot of inner shadow work. But the ceremony started, like when I started feeling the effects and I could kind of connect to the spirit of the plant. The spirit of the plant kind of put this thought in my head. And the thought started showing up over and over again. And the thought was, if you don't believe in yourself, what are you really selling? And it hit me so deep. I was sitting there like, what the hell just happened to me? And I was remembering all of what I just shared tonight, like how I did not believe the things that I was selling, how I hated selling them, and how, because I didn't believe in the things that I was selling, I started feeling like I am a scam. And so the question is, if you're not really yourself, if you're not really being yourself, then what are you really selling? It's deep. So 2 weeks, there's going to be 14 modules in that one. We're going to go through all of them together, one by one. There's going to be a lot, and I haven't revealed any of the information modules. That's still in the works, but this is the most powerful offering I've ever done. Like even my current psychic businesswoman, it's the foundations of creating a psychic businesswoman. Like psychic business type of venture for a psychic businesswoman, someone who desires to be a psychic and use their gifts as in a business professionally, right? So, and that one's sold out and it's such an amazing experience, but it doesn't go into sales. It really doesn't, because that wasn't the intention. It was, how do you set that business? How do you create this clean, energetic energy? How do you exchange with people? How do you do readings? How do you read for yourself? How do you embody? How do you do the inner work, the healing work, the journey? It's not really about sales. Sales is a whole different thing. So yourself is going to be a sales program. The second one, because I said there's going to be 2 back to back. The second one is called Unfiltered. Raw, vulnerable, real social media. Ta-da! That's basically what I'm doing, but there's more to it. You don't have to go live for basically 3 years to become really good at storytelling and doing live videos like this. Do you guys think I'm tense? Do you guys think I'm like freaking out or have a speech? I don't even have notes right now. I'm literally naked in a towel. And I'm sharing value. And I'm pretty sure it's pretty valuable. So you don't have to go live for years and years in order to get to that level. You get to get there very quickly. And this program is going to be very hands-on. There's going to be a lot of practice. So like, unless you are serious about running a business and you want to like actually launch yourself and do the social media and like actually take huge steps in that program while it's going on, probably don't sign up, because you're going to be like, I'm paralyzed and they're taking so much action. It's wild. So this is going to be huge as well. So the both start in July. The first one, yourself, begins on July 7th. The second one begins on date TBD, because I'll probably need like at least a few days in between to just catch my breath. The second one begins at the end of July, closer towards the end of July. And the second one is unfiltered, raw, vulnerable, truthful, or authentic social media. So the both of them are going to be 1,400, probably 1,444 each. Together 2,888 or 2,800, but I like the angel numbers. I like the repeating numbers. It activates me. It makes me feel really good, because I hate the 99, whatever, 1499, 1999, 99.99, 9999999. Like, stop it. Just round it up to the dollar already. But then when it's a zero in the end, that also doesn't really resonate with me for some reason. So, but right now, if you decide this is something you want to do, which if it's not, it's not. But you can have both. This is like beyond pre-sale. This is only available in this here. And when you get the permanent recordings of these videos, as I promised, which you are, over email, all of this is going to be removed, edited out. Like all of these offers, all the things, like, and then the last time, me talking about tarot course, me talking about this, me talking about, it's all going to be gone. It's just going to be the stories. That's it. So this is only available while this container is available, and it's going away on June 16th. So without any pressure, that's just the boundary that I'm setting. That it's just, it is what it is. But the two of them right now are 888. As per usual, you can choose a payment plan as to however long it's going to take you. It doesn't matter to me. It can be short, it can be long, it can be higher amounts, it can be lower amounts. I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't make it any difference to me. I don't have to have it right now. But if you want to be part of it, it is what it is. It costs what it costs. And this is like about a fourth of what it's going to actually cost. The both of them. You get two. It's 4 weeks total. It's sales program and social media program, which is basically what you need in order to have a successful. Now, you have to have a business. So this is for the person who has a business already, or has a kind of an idea of what business is like. Like, what actually do they want to do? What do they want to offer? Sales yourself is going to cover how to create offers. That's going to be part of it. So but you got to know what you can do in order to package it into an offer, right? So this is what I have for you tonight, my friends. I am about to go to bed and just fall asleep because I'm so tired, but I'm so happy that I went live here and that I have not had an accident with this towel, because I feel like it was a close call a few times. And I'm so glad that I got to do this the way that I wanted to do this and feel the way that I wanted to feel while doing this. And I've been so relaxed and so happy and so at the same time engaged and fully present. And this is the most beautiful thing ever. But this is what you get to do. This is what you get to create. And whether or not you want to be part of this experience with me, these programs, you get to still do whatever you want to do. You get to still figure this out and feel into it and calibrate to it and enjoy this and do this on your own terms. Nothing I ever sell or offer is something that I'm going to create a problem for you and say, this is the only way. No, it's not. You can do it on your own. You can learn from others. You can find other things that speak to this. Maybe something got activated in you tonight, and then you see an offer from someone that activates you also, and that's an offer that's in alignment, and the timing is right, and whatever. It's beautiful. It's all beautiful. I would never go like, no, you shouldn't go there. You should go here. But if you want to go here, that's the whole thing. Then you're invested. Then you know you want this. Then you know you really want to have this. And then you can have this. You get to have this. No matter when. Maybe it's later. Maybe it's another round. Maybe it's the next round of these two programs. It doesn't make a difference. Maybe it's now. Who knows? But this will be the lowest ever price for two of them. It's not even going to be a price for one of them. They're going to both start at $14.44 each. So only here now, they both are $888 together for two. If you choose a payment plan, we can start it later. Like, we can start the actual payment plan around the time the program starts, if that feels right. or whatever. There's always limitless options about that. I'm not someone who needs to have it all right now, or needs to have some freaky control issues about it, or set the specific amounts. And I don't really, like I said, I don't care. If that's something you know you want and desire and you want to have and you're going to have it, then you're going to have it. And I'm just here for you. However, whatever your terms are, I'm okay with that, because I am totally fine. If I weren't, I wouldn't be saying that, and I would honor that, but I am, I really am. I find that I really enjoy that. I enjoy women telling me what they want to pay and how long they want to pay it and over which time. Just, I love it. I freaking love it. So this concludes our 3-day experience together. Like I said, you will receive these videos edited. Some things are going to be cut out, such as these offers, because the offers are time sensitive. And when this group goes away on June 16th, the tarot course that I've been promoting will be in session already, and it will be in a different price point. So right now it's $2,222. It's going to go up to $2,555 on June 16th. So I don't want to confuse things. And so all of these offers, mentions, yes, but all of the offers will be actually edited out. So when you get these videos, they will be something you get to keep forever, but they're going to exclude any promotional materials and offers, because those are time sensitive and only for those of you who were here live. I will put the videos on my YouTube as well, so that those who never saw me on Facebook and might someday somehow stumble upon this video online, they get to find it. And that's why I want to kind of also clean them up from the time sensitive offers that they didn't get to experience in the group setting with me. So this has been a joy, a pleasure, a total activation. I'm so proud of this masterclass. I'm so proud of this work. I'm so proud of you showing up. I know some of you have been showing up on live every single time. Ladies. Some of you have been watching on replay. It doesn't make a difference. Those of you who showed up, thank you. You get this group until June 16th, and then you get the edited versions of these videos to keep forever in an email. That's why I asked for your email. I will put something in the email that will be a little reminder, a little something special, okay? And that's just a little bonus. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but there's going to be something special in there, like a little extra gift. So that gets to be a surprise. Something to remind you of our time together. So on this note, thank you so much for being here. I'm seeing this comment, seeing these comments is what I meant. And I want to read them before I jump off. You seem in flow to me. Yeah, exactly. That would not be the story. That would not be the feeling that you got from me when I was feeling like a scam, selling things in a masculine way. That's impossible for me to be like that when I'm in that. Kayla loves this so much. Thank you. You're welcome. Stealing that idea resonates so much to other to offer clients the option to choose their plan. Yeah, exactly. Do it. It's amazing. Yes. But because, especially when you work mostly with women love the power to buy. Like, women love shopping. Women just love when they get to choose something. Why do you think there's so many colors and lipsticks there? I was watching Mad Men. That was like first season. And it was like color red or color pink. And this character, Peggy, she was like, women like choices. It's more. It's this or this or this or this or this. It's like one wants to find hers, not red or pink, but like lilac blue, rose, sunset. But it's true. You want to express yourself. You want to choose. You want to do it on your terms. You want to do it when you want. You want to buy the way you want. You want your cake. You want to eat it too. And then you want to also take pictures before you eat it because it's so pretty and you want to post them. Why not? You already got the cake. Might as well feed the camera and your audience, right? Why not? That's amazing. We all love that. We love seeing that. We love it. We are beautiful creatures. Not because someone else says we're beautiful, no, or not, right? But because we get to feel beautiful. We get to choose to feel beautiful. We get to acknowledge beauty, appreciate it, and highlight it. give it a photo shoot, publish it online. Love it. Obsessed with it. Enjoy it. So that's where I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so honored and so excited. And I'm sending you all so much love. And I will see you very soon. So take care. And remember that you're closer than you think. Always. Whatever you're doing, like I was doing cards, didn't even talk about it. Like I was doing live videos, didn't really even know why. Here, I know why. And it's the reason that I am where I am now. So keep doing it, keep showing up. Even if it doesn't make sense, do what you know you can't not do. Under any circumstances, do what you know you must, you have to, you don't know why, just do it. Just freaking do it. Keep doing it. It's gonna make sense later on. Sending you so much love. I'll see you guys soon. Mwah.